Hello, this is Benjamin Boyce, and I found an article that feels rather perturbing to me, and I just kind of wanted to process it out loud to you, my guests. And it's from the Los Angeles Times, the title of which is "The Spreadsheet That Shook the Theater World, Mary Cisco's Not Speaking Out List." So what Mary Cisco did was compile a list of theaters who had not spoken out about Black Lives Matter. It did not appear to be a coincidence that the following day and into June, theaters began posting messages of solidarity with Black Lives Matter en masse, Black theater artists said. The response was problematic because often the statements were perceived to have come from a place of shame and felt slapped together and hollow, Cisco said. So she basically made a list to shame people into compliance and then shames them for coming from a place of shame. To continue, more disturbing than the slowness to speak out, Cisco said, was the language of the statements themselves, many of which fell back on pledges of support without acknowledgement of the historical diversity problem in theater or commitments to take concrete steps to support Black artists. So not only is she evaluating the legitimacy of this support that she's basically shaming people into showing, she's also saying, well, where's the beef? You're saying these things, but where's the moolah? Where's the cheddar, right? This is a shakedown. And she is proud that this is being written about. And I'm sure the Los Angeles Times thinks this is a just cause. As theaters posted statements on social media and emailed them to their supporters and the press, Cisco and her crowd-sourced contributors, which means these people have no accountability and they're holding other people accountable, recorded when each company's message went public, whether it cited Black Lives Matter specifically, and whether the institution had donated to the cause or pledged actionable commitments, among other criteria. After the spreadsheet began to circulate, it grew quickly. A number of theaters asked to be taken off the list. Cisco's answer, no. And I wonder if these theaters had offered her money if she would have taken them off. I wonder if she would modify this document if somebody paid her well enough. Well, she's looking for resources anyways, but maybe she's altruistic enough to want resources spread around the entirety of the Black community. Cisco's spreadsheet has become a living document, which means they can alter it to whatever they want it to say at any time. It is being fact-checked and audited, she said, and additional columns, still mostly empty, are for the difficult, time-consuming work of tracking the number of Black staff in executive or artistic positions and the number of Black board members, among other details. The article goes on. I think we've had enough of that. I just want to make my point that originally today, I wanted to explore how to perceive and hold space for authentic grievances. Insofar as there is an authentic amount of grief and oppression that needs to be communicated about, what is the proper way to receive that and to hold on to that and to pay attention to that? I think that paying attention to that in a proper, respectful manner is a very necessary thing to do. It allows people to be heard, and then it allows that emotion to be processed, and then we can go forward with actual policy plans. That, however, and this is what I've been saying, I'm trying to make a space for the progressive mindset that thinks that this is the all-consuming idea and purpose of this country now is to deal with our racism, is to deal with these systemic problems, and I want to give them space to do that while also calling out the opportunists that will take advantage of everybody bending their knee to them. Furthermore, it's a total betrayal. The danger of this, the absolute danger of a list being made of theaters and then of restaurants and then of YouTube channels, of Twitter accounts, of every given business, everybody being held to some sort of accounting that is a living document that can be made to extort you or to pressure you into not only saying the right thing, but saying it within a certain time frame and then calling out certain things that you're going to do and then giving people positions of power, authority, and money and resources? Are they actually calculating how much they can extort from these different companies? Furthermore, are they calculating how much they can extort morally from the esteem of people, from the goodwill of people? The New York Times had an article, I'm not going to pull it up, but the New York Times had an article about the acceptance and support for Black Lives Matter is rapidly rising. But how much of that support is compelled? I know of businesses in my area that were told to shut down last Friday for the protests, and now are being pressured to shut down today for Black Lives Matter. And what do? Like, they are just struggling to survive. They're finally allowed to open, and now they're being told to shut down. And now, well, their business is going to be put on a list, and that list is going to go around, and people can show up and demand, well, how many Black staff members do you have? How many Indigenous staff members do you have? How much do you pay them? What is the actual money that you're giving these? And does that money represent not only how many people are in the world of this particular race, but also account for all of the extortion that history has laid upon the feet of this race? Is this the proper way of going about doing that? How long will people bend before they break? If you are reasonable, you're going to do a calculus right now. Do I hold my tongue, or do I speak out, or do I say what they want me to say? Those are the three options. If you say what they want you to say, they won't be satisfied. They will want more. And if you give them what they want from you, they will ask more. They will ask as much as possible. You can hold your tongue and you will be pilloried, but they only have so much resources to go after everybody. So if you hold your tongue, you'll be safe. But here's the problem with holding your tongue. You're ceding the rational ground, the moderate ground, the stable ground. You're giving that over to the radicals. And people who have no qualms with speaking out will speak out, and they will take your position for you. So if you're reasonable and you don't speak out, I assure you that people will speak out for you, and they probably won't have your best interests at heart either. They will probably be radicals from the other side. So if you don't speak out, you're ceding ground to the radicals, basically. If you do speak out, here's the calculus. You will get called out. You will pay a price for that. You won't be extorted, though. You'll be punished in a way. So they will come after you, and they will do whatever they can. However much resources they can get out of you, they will get out of you. And whether you submit to the shakedown or you submit to the Molotov cocktail and the shame on social media. So those are your three options if you're against this stuff and if you're reasonable. I would strongly counsel that you speak out reasonably. Insofar as you do that, insofar as you do speak up and take your lumps, you can also call out people from the Black Lives Matter movement that are actually making reasonable requests, and you can center them. We need to speak out, not on behalf for or against this particular problem, but we need to speak out for reasonable interaction. Extortion lists are off the table. I would say these are off the table. This is absolutely shameful behavior, and it's very troublesome if reasonable people don't stand up and speak out against this reasonably. We need a moral majority that can attend to authentic pain and to look at actual problems and shut down opportunists and smack them down. And I don't see that because people are in such a rush to prove that they're virtuous. And now, if you're not virtuous, you're a frickin' sinner. And you will pay, one way or another, you will pay. That is absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely, thoroughly unacceptable. I encourage you guys to say what you can say, share what you can share, find good voices out there and share them around, and just make little inroads to popping the bubble of righteousness, because these are the people who are taking advantage of righteousness, people who just want resources and will shame you, openly just shame people to get their way, under the guise of a righteous cause. It's anyways, that's enough. I'll talk to you later. Ciao.